Hi, this is Alan. Today I'm going to talk about townhomes, condos, title, and home styles. Hope this resolves some of the questions that comes up with buyers all the time. First, let's talk about title. Title is the type of ownership for real property. It could be fee simple, condominium, also called a horizontal property regime, fractional interest. There's other types of ownership that we don't use too much here in South Carolina. In terms of style, we have a single family detached home, a townhome or a patio home, and a condo. Those are the three most common types of properties we have here. Fee simple title, what does it mean? The individual owns all the land and the buildings. They're free to improve or modify the property subject to obviously town and or neighborhood restrictions. Like for example, if they want to change the color or they want to add a screen porch. The owner of the property is responsible for all the expenses. Hazard insurance, flood insurance, exterior maintenance, termite protection, landscaping, everything else. Now let's switch to condo, horizontal property regime title. In condo title, the association is the owner of all the land and the buildings. The regime or the condo association is responsible for all the external maintenance, the hazard and flood insurance, termite bond, landscaping, power washing, all that. The individual owns a percentage of the association based normally on square footage and pays a monthly regime fee. And there's no individual property or landscaping improvements allowed because remember, the owner doesn't own the buildings, the association does. So any changes have to be approved by the association and carried by the association as well. Fractional ownership. In fractional ownership, the individual owns a fraction of the interest in the property. It's very common to see a 1/13 type of fractional ownership, especially on high-priced properties like beach properties, etc. We get calls very often and say, well, this beach property on Isle of Palms, is it that cheap? And then you say, yes, it is that cheap, but it's only a 1/13 interest in the property. It's also called interval ownership, and the owners are assigned periods of exclusive use, not unlike timeshare, except that in timeshare you don't own the property. In fractional ownership you actually own a fraction of the property. And all the expenses are prorated according to what fraction of the building you own. So let's talk about townhouses or townhomes. Townhomes can be fee simple title with no regime. Here in Mount Pleasant, for example, Bay Tree Townhomes are an example of a fee simple title townhouse with no regime. It could be fee simple title with a regime for shared or common property. And it could be that the townhome has condo titles. Heritage Village here in Mount Pleasant is an example of townhomes. They only have one or two neighbors. They're attached. They have no neighbors up or down. But they are condos. Actually, the association owns the buildings and the land. So when you're buying a townhouse or a condo, you have to ask some questions. Is it a condo, a fee simple, or fractional interest title? Are there any monthly costs, any regime fees? What do the regime fees cover? Is there an HOA fee on top? There are certain places like in Park West where you have the regime for the townhouses has a separate association, but they also pay an HOA fee to Park West for the use of the central amenities for the neighborhood. Who's responsible for fixing and maintaining, the roof, the siding, the air conditioning, the landscaping? If they're condo title, what percentage of the units are investor owned? Is the regime under litigation? How are the finances of the association? And are there any rental restrictions? Those last questions are especially for investors and especially for people who want to finance the purchase of a condo or a townhome with a condo regime. Because lenders normally don't like to lend on associations who have more than 50% investor-owned properties, because those are the kind of properties that people let go first in the case of a downturn, so they perceive a little higher risk for those. So if you want any more information to purchase at townhomes, condos, please give us a call on 843-900-0155 or send me an email at alan@alandonald.com. You can also follow us on social media. Thank you very much,